What's up guys, TG back here with another Outer Banks video giving my thoughts on Season 1 and early Season 2 predictions. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, as I will be making more videos as we learn more about Season 2. So this show really came out of nowhere. I didn't hear of it once before it came out, and it wasn't really until a week or two after it came out that I really started hearing people talk about it, and I finally got convinced to watch it. I watched it in like 2 or 3 days, and I really did enjoy it, although there were some cringe moments, I guess. The season ended with John and Sarah going into the storm, which, let me just say, I have no clue how they survived that. I mean, I'm glad they did, but their boat fully flipped over, and the storm went on for at least another few hours after that. But anyway, we saw them get rescued, and they are now headed to none other than the Bahamas, where Ward's plane with the gold is. Speaking of Ward, did anyone realize he played Josh in The Office? Because I did not recognize that at all when watching the show until I saw it on Twitter. So that is just a little fun fact. As for Season 2, it hasn't been officially renewed by Netflix yet, but they did already give the green light to start writing a Season 2, like the script, even before the first season came out. So they do seem to be confident in it, and given its popularity, I do think that the show will get renewed. And as you can see here, the showrunner does believe it does have 4 to 5 seasons in it. So Season 2 will spend some time in the Bahamas, but most of it will stay in the Outer Banks. So my guess is John and Sarah will be spending the first episode or two in the Bahamas getting the gold back before going back home. Although I have no clue how they'll get it back to Outer Banks. Finding it shouldn't be too hard, as Sarah knows where her father's house is there, but somehow getting it back to Outer Banks will be difficult. Maybe they'll hide it in their own spot in the Bahamas, or try to sell it there for the money before taking it home, or maybe they could even pay someone to help them transport it back. They don't have much money on them right now, but they do have the 1 gold bar that John took from the cop car, so he can try to use that. Ward also won't really be able to focus on stopping them because he does think that they're dead, and even if he knew they were alive, he has too much to deal with at home. We know John exposed him in a way over the radio in front of law enforcement, but it's unlikely that's enough to land him in prison to start the season. There's not much other evidence right now other than the word of a wanted killer in John. We know he didn't kill anyone, but most of Outer Banks does, and so do the law enforcement currently. I do think that they will be able to start investigating Ward going into Season 2 though. But even besides that, Ward still has a lot to deal with at home within his own family. They all believe Sarah's dead, which will have a heavy impact on them. Even if Ward was a bad father and didn't show it in the best way, he did love and care for Sarah a lot. And then there's Rafe, who's doing terrible. He's going to continue going down a really dark path between killing the sheriff, his drug problem, and thinking that his sister is dead. And he's basically going to be owned by his drug dealer in Season 2. There is a possibility that the dealer rats out Rafe to get a reward. Like he said, Rafe better be worth more to him than $20,000. And honestly, I don't think that he's going to be able to rat out Rafe. If he tries to, Rafe might kill him too. I'm curious to see how Weezy handles this as well. She didn't really play too much of an impact in Season 1, and I don't think she will in Season 2 either. She is like kind of too young to get heavily involved, but I can see her trying to get away from her family as well, especially when she learns Sarah is alive. That whole family is a mess, and it's going to be really hard for them in Season 2. Then of course we have JJ, Kiara, and Pope back at home, and I'm excited to see what happens with them. They don't know John and Sarah are alive yet, but I'm sure they will by the end of episode 1 or 2. Right now, they can technically get into trouble for aiding a wanted felon, but there's obviously no way that they'll all be sitting in jail for, the whole season. I think they'll be left alone right now, given how much they've gone through, and honestly, I think the main investigation will be focused on Ward, so until they get solved that, I don't think they'll be going after them necessarily. I believe Topper can be another key player in this as well. I have an Outer Banks character ranking video you should check out for sure, but I did mention in it that Topper has a good chance for redemption. We know he's good friends with Rafe, so I think it's possible he can almost be like undercover and try to get some info. He is in police custody right now for helping John and Sarah escape, and we do know that although he is an asshole throughout Season 1, he does care for Sarah. He'll do anything to help her, which will include turning on Rafe and exposing him and Ward. So it seems that the early part of Season 2 will focus on getting that gold from the Bahamas, and the remainder of it may be on clearing John's name and taking down Ward. The Outer Banks still won't be a safe place for John when he returns, so he'll have to be careful until he get his name fully cleared. I've seen some people say that they think John's dad might actually be alive and that he'll return, but I don't think that's the case. I do think that he's actually dead. I mean, we did kind of see it, and I think John is going to be the one who carries out his father's goal of getting the gold. I've also seen some people asking if it's possible for the sheriff to still be alive, and although the last we saw her, she was getting rolled into the hospital, and we didn't technically officially see her dead, I think she is gone. I mean, all the other cops and deputies seem to know that she's dead, and it was too late to save her. I mean, that wound was really bad, and she was bleeding out for a while. I think just her waking up and saying, "Oh, Rafe shot me, not John," is too easy. It's going to take a lot to take that family down, and the sheriff getting killed was just an example of that. Ward and his family are rich and powerful, and a lot of people are going to have to play a role to end them. I am really excited for Season 2, although it is probably not coming for a while, but when it finally does come, that is what I'm expecting to see. A lot of action and chaos in Outer Banks between the people that know the truth and are trying to clear John, versus Ward and his family and the other kooks that will bag him. That's it for this video, guys. Be sure to watch my character ranking video, look out for future videos, and leave your opinions about the show in Season 2 down in the comments.